Hello friends, today we're going to be looking at a linear equation. Now don't forget that in our previous exposition or lesson, we worked on algebra, advanced algebra. Now it was made known unto us that under the advanced algebra, there are different kinds of equation. Now we discussed a linear equation, quadratic equation, trinomial equation, polynomial equation, and also simultaneous equation. Now, in our previous exposition, we were told something, and here's a reminder of what we were told about linear equation. We said the highest power carried by a variable or unknown when it comes to linear equation is plus one. So when it comes to linear equation, the highest power we have is positive one. So we have something like this: x is power one, then x is power zero. So just like ax is power one plus bx is power zero. Don't forget anything raised to power zero is one. So this is equals to ax plus b. So any equation or expression that has its variable to have the highest power to be plus one, it means we are dealing with a linear equation or a linear expression. So quickly, let's take note of this. We have a couple of things to take note. Now, this is the first set of stuff we have to take note. Now, don't forget, we said it also that the major difference between an equation and an expression is simply the presence of the equality sign. So, for an equation, there is a balance between what we have on the left-hand side, LHS, and what we have on the right-hand side. So, what are we going to note here? Now, this is what I want us to note. When it's time to move from one point, that is from the left-hand side to the right hand side, there's something we have to take note of. Whenever a quantity moves from one spot to another spot, crossing through the equality sign, what's going to happen is this: that very quantity will change its sign. So if I here have 2x plus y equals to 0, what do I have here? There's 2x. This, what sign does 2x have? 2x has a positive sign. This plus 2. The y has a positive sign also, which is plus 2. So when these two, when they cross to the other side, then what's going to happen to them? When they cross to the other side, each of them changes the sign they have. It's just like leaving one country to another country. Now, this only happens when they cross the equality sign. So this plus 2x, if plus 2x crosses to this place, it becomes minus 2x. So that's going to be plus y here, weighted, equals to minus 2x. This 0 changes, becomes minus 2x. Now, if plus y also crosses, if it crosses also, it will, what are we going to have left here when plus y crosses? We're going to end up with 0. Now, 0 equals to minus 2x, that's already here. Now, plus y crosses, it becomes minus y. Now, that's what we have. Now, note this. Whenever a quantity crosses from one point to another, that either from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, or from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, it does that with a change in the sign. So if it has a positive sign, when it crosses to the other side, the positive sign becomes negative. If it has a negative sign, when it crosses, the negative sign becomes positive. So let's look at this. Right here we have 5 equals to 4p minus 3q. 5 equals to 4p minus 3q. Now, if you look at this, this is a linear equation. What's the highest power that we have on each variable? This p raised per 1, q raised per 1. This doesn't have a stated variable unknown, so we know that whatever variable is here is raised by 0. So this is a linear equation. So let's see what's going to happen when they change position. Now, this is plus 5. Well, this is 4p. What sign does 4p have? 4p has a positive sign. What sign does 3q have? 3q has a negative sign. So when plus 5 crosses to this side, it becomes minus 5. Why? Because it has crossed from one country, let me use that word, the equals to separate a given region from another region. So this equals to separates what we have on the LHS, the left-hand side, from what we have on the right-hand side. So when plus 5 crosses to this place, it becomes minus 5. While when this ones cross to this place, they become, they change their signs also. So let's say these two cross over to this place. Here becomes minus 4p, minus 3q crosses also, it becomes plus 3q. So I have equals to y plus 5 crosses to this place, becomes minus 5. So that's how we get it done. So when one crosses the equality sign, it changes the sign. So when plus 5 crosses, it changes to minus 5. And plus 4p crosses, it changes to minus 4p. Same thing with this. Here's the second thing we have to note. Now look at this. Now after the very first note of that, this is another set of stuff we have to note. Very, very important before we go into the major set of worked examples. So right here, if you can see, as you can see, this minus 3 open bracket 2x minus y. Now in our previous exposition, that's in one of our previous lessons, we worked on multiplication and division of basic algebra. So although we didn't really make mention of expansion, now this is minus 3 multiplying 2x minus y at the same time. So this is not like minus 3 times 2x. We worked on stuff like minus 3 times 2x. Now assuming just minus 3 times 2x, it's very simple. It's very simple and direct. First of all, you're going to work on their signs, and after that, you multiply the coefficients, then the variables, you end up having a communication. But this time around, just minus 3 is going to multiply two quantities at the same time. We have 2x here, and we have minus y. And that's the reason these two have been put in a bracket. Now, whenever we have just one quantity trying to multiply two or more quantities at the same time, that compound or multiple quantities will be put in a given bracket. So here what we're going to do is this. Now we're going to expand, or we're going to open up the bracket. So it means the first thing we're going to do is to get to know the sign each of these quantities carry. This 3 has a negative sign, which is minus. Now what sign does 2s have? 2s has an invisible plus. That's what we have here. Now y has a that's minus. So what we're going to do first is this minus 3 we talk to this and also talk to this. Minus 3 we talk to each of them one after the other, no matter how many they are in the bracket. Let's say we have about 10 quantities. So minus 3 we talk to this, it will talk to this, it will talk to other quantities, there are other quantities. So the first thing is minus 3 times plus 3. Don't forget that this bracket means multiplication. That's what bracket means. So let's do that. Minus 3 times 2x, which is plus 2x. Plus is minus will give me minus. Then 3 times 2 is 6. So just add my x to that. We're done with that. So the next minus 3 times minus y. Minus 3 times minus y. Minus and minus to give us plus. 3 times y is 3y. So at the end of the day, we end up bringing them together. That'll be minus 6x plus 3y. Now, very important. Don't forget that the major reason why we have a bracket here is because of the fact that we have just one quantity trying to communicate with two or more quantities at the same time. So what's going to happen is we put all those multiple quantities in a parenthesis or in a bracket. Then each of this, ends up ends up multiplying or talking to each of them one after the other. So let's look at the other one here. This is minus 5. Trying to multiply minus 4y plus 2. So what's going to happen is minus 5 will talk to each of them. But before we do that, let's get to know the sign that each of them has. So 5 has a negative sign. 4y has a negative sign, 2 has a positive sign. It's going to be minus 5 will talk to minus 4y, minus 5 then talks to, plus 2. So let's get that done. This minus 5 times minus 4y. So what do we do next? Minus is minus, that's plus. 5 times 4 is 20, that's plus 20y. So the next thing we're going to do is minus 5 will talk to plus 2. Minus 5 times plus 2. So minus times plus is minus, 5 times 2 is 10. So we're going to bring them together. Let's bring them together. That'll be plus 20y, or just 20y, minus 10. So that's just that. Okay, guys, it's time we solve some examples. So now look at what we have here, right here. Let's solve for x in 4x minus 15 equals to minus 3x plus 13. Now, let's see if this equation is linear, because this is an equation. We have an equality sign here already. So it means what we have here, this is the left-hand side, is equal to what we have on the right-hand side. So let's quickly see if what we're working on right now is truly a linear equation, if it's not another kind of equation. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is the kind of power that each of those variables have. So don't forget, for linear equation, the highest power must be 1. So this x is power 1, just ordinary x power 1. Do you have any variable here? No variables. So this is x plus 0. This x is power 1, and this x plus 0. So the highest power we have here is 1. So it means this is a typical linear equation. So now for us to get the value of x, and don't forget, just x is the only variable we have here. We don't have double variables unknown, just have only x. So for us to get the value of x, now we have to make up our mind. Now this is the equality sign. This is the left-hand side. This is the right-hand side. So we have to make up our mind on where we are going to keep the x. Don't forget, as we have here, we have two categories of quantities. We have the ones with unknown, and we have the ones without unknown. As you can see, this 4x, this 3x. These ones here don't have any major unknown added to them, but they have x plus 0. Don't forget, in our previous exposition on basic algebra, we talked about how we could collect like terms. So we said, first of all, we have to identify the kinds of unknowns that we have. So right here, we have two major kinds of unknown. First is x to the power 1, and the other is x to the power 0, and that's why it's a linear equation. So we're going to make up our mind on where we're going to keep our x. So if we want the x to be on the LHS, okay, let's say let the x be on the LHS, so that's going to be s equals to this. So if the x is going to be on the left hand side, it means the numbers, the quantities I mean without x will be on the right hand side. So let's get that done first. So this 4x here, this plus 4x, this minus 15, minus 3x plus 13. So we want all the quantities with unknown x to be on the left hand side. So let's get that done. So the first we have here is plus 4x. Now plus 4x is already on the left hand side. So let's see, do I have another x on the left hand side? No. So we're going to check the other side. On the right hand side we have minus 3x. We don't want any quantity with x to be on the right hand side. So it has to cross to the left hand side. So we're going to send this to the left hand side. So now in an attempt for it to cross to the left hand side, it's crossing the equality sign. So the sign changes from minus 3x to plus 3x. So that's going to become plus 3x. Do we have another x again? So we are done with that. We are done with all the x. So we end up putting our, we're going to put our equals to. So we're done with all the x. So all the quantities with that x will be sent to the right hand side. I think we have one already on the right hand side. We have plus 13 already on the right hand side. So let's see, are there other quantities that should be on the right hand side? Okay, right here we have minus 15. Minus 15 should be on the right hand side. So we're going to send it over to the right hand side. So it crosses, it becomes plus 15. Now, don't forget that when a quantity crosses the equality sign, it changes the sign it carries. Just like this quantity is like a person in Nigeria that goes to another country, changes the naira to another to the currency of that very country. So minus 15 crosses and changes the sign. So what's the next thing you're going to do now? Now, don't forget, this is addition of basic algebra right here in front of us. The signs are the same thing, the variables I mean, so we can combine the coefficients together. Plus 4 plus 3 is plus 7. Plus 7, just pick one s, plus 7x. Then equals to plus 13 plus 15 will give us plus 28. Now, what are we looking for? We are looking for x. X is what we are looking for, which is unknown. Now, whenever we ask to get the unknown, whatever coefficient is close to the x or to the unknown, we're going to use it. Now, don't forget what connects this x and 7. What connects x and 7 is multiplication. This more or less like saying plus 7 times x. So for us to get rid of the 7, because we have to get x, not get 7x. So we want the x to be on its own. So for us to get rid of the 7 and make sure that x is on its own, what connects x and 7 together is multiplication. So we're going to use the opposite of multiplication to get rid of that 7. What's the opposite of multiplication? The opposite of multiplication is division, just like the way subtraction is the opposite of addition. So how do we get rid of the 7? We get rid of the 7 by using division. So we're going to use division to get rid of the 7. So we're going to divide both sides plus 7. Now, whatever you do to this place, you have to also do it here. That's the reason we call it equation. If you only divide here by 7 and you leave this place, without dividing it by 7, it means it's no more an equation. So if you do whatever you do to this place, you do it to this place. So this plus 7 plus 7. 7 takes out 7. What I have left, I have ordinary x. The plus and plus, you give us plus. Equal signs, you give us plus. Negative and different signs, you give us minus. 7 and 28 is 4. So x is plus 4. As simple as that. So also, if you want the x to be on the right hand side, we can make the x to be on the right hand side. We can decide to do that. Now, how do we do that? It's very simple. We already have one x already on the right hand side. We have minus 3x. So what we're just going to do is minus 3s is here already on the right hand side. So we're going to send this one that is on the left hand side to this place. That becomes minus 4x. So we're done with that. No other x again. So if x is going to be on the right hand side, it means the ones without x will be on the left hand side. So this one's already on the left hand side. Minus 15 is already here waiting on the left hand side. So this one crosses down to meet it. Becomes minus 13. So minus 15 minus 13 is minus 28 equals to minus 7x. So we want to get rid of the x. So for us to get rid of the x, minus 7 is the closest to x. So we're going to use minus 7 to divide both sides. As we minus 28 is the closest to x, we're going to use minus 28. Well, now it's minus 7. So that will be minus 7 and minus 7. X is minus 28 over minus 7. Minus and minus to give us plus. 7 and 28 is plus 4. Just the same thing, no difference. Question 2. Solve for x in 2 open bracket x minus 3 close the bracket minus 5 open bracket 2 minus x in bracket close the bracket, I mean, now equals to 4 open bracket 4 minus 3x close the bracket plus 6. Now how do we get the value of x in this kind of equation? And don't forget this is a linear equation also. Now how do we get to know if this is a linear equation? First of all, let's see the power that each unknown, or each variable carries. So each variable carries different kind of power. So let's see this 2 here, this 2 x is power 0, this x is power 1, x is power 0, x is power 0, x is power 0, x is power 1. So as you can see, the highest power we have here on all the variables is 1. So this is a typical linear equation. It's very important, you have to know that. And also it's an equation, don't forget it's an equality sign. So now this question is more complex. Why? Because we have certain quantities trying to relate with or multiply multiple quantities at the same time. So 2 here is trying to relate with x minus 3, minus 5 is trying to relate to 2 minus x, now 4 is trying to relate with 4 and minus 3x, so, and that's why you have all the set of brackets. So the first thing you have to do is to open up the bracket. Don't forget, we worked on that in our introduction, in our note, we took note of that. So right here, this plus 2, so plus 2, this plus 2 here, this is plus x minus 5. Don't forget, you have to be very careful when it comes to working with the signs. This minus 5, this plus 2 minus x, this plus 4, the plus 4 minus 3x, and then plus 6. So the first thing you have to do is to open up the bracket. So plus 2 times plus x. So plus times plus is plus. 2 times x is 2x. So plus 2 times minus 3. Plus times minus is minus. 2 times 3 is 6. We're done. We've opened this bracket. So the next is minus 5. Please, you have to be very, very cautious of the sign, the carry. This is minus 5, then times plus 2. So plus and minus will give us minus 5 times 2, 10. Then still minus 5 again. We talk to this other one in the bracket. So minus is minus will give us plus 5 times x, that's 5x. Then equals to what we have on the right hand side right now. Plus 4 times plus 4 will give us plus 16. Then plus 4 times minus 3 plus is minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12x. Then we have plus 6. So everything is set already. So what we just have to do now is to decide where we want our x to be. We have two set of quantities. We have some quantities with x, and we have some quantities without x. So we're going to choose where we want the x to be and where we want the ones without x to be. So we could choose the ones with x to be on the left hand side, and the ones without x should be on the right hand side. So that's what we want to do. So all the ones with x, they will be on the on the left hand side. So we have some already on the left hand side. This plus 2x, this plus 5x. Now don't forget, none of this will have their signs changed because they are not crossing the equality sign. They're just within the left hand side. So what we're just going to do is to collect our like terms, bring them together. So this plus 2x right here, this plus 5x, they are not crossing the equality sign, and just have to bring them together. Now let's see if we have anybody with x on the right hand side that has to be on the left hand side. So we have minus 12x here. It's on the right hand side. It has to be on the left hand side. So we're going to send it down. We're going to send it over. So minus 12x crosses the equality sign. Don't forget, as it's crossing the equality sign, it changes the sign. This minus becomes plus 12x. So we're done with that. So all the ones without x will be on the right hand side. That's what we agree. So we have some already on the right hand side without x. So we have plus 16. We have plus 6 right here. So we're going to take those ones out first. Plus 16. Plus 6 right here, we have the 12 there. So this 2 here without, without x, we're also going to send them over. So this plus 6, and then plus 10. So let's combine up. So all this they have the same unknowns variable. S is power 1, S is power 1, S is power 1. So we can combine the coefficients directly. So 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 12 is 19. Plus 19x equals to 16 plus 6 is 22. 22 plus 6 is 28. 28 plus 10 is 38. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for x. So for the fact that we're looking for x, what is the closest or the nearest coefficient to x is plus 19. And what connects 19 and x? Multiplication. So we're going to use division to get rid of the 19. So we're going to get rid of the 19 by dividing here with 19. And whatever we do to this place, the same has to be done to the other side also. So we're also going to divide this with 19. So here, this out there, so x is equals to 38 over 19. S is equals to 2. That's a value of x. Don't forget, you can choose to put the x on the left-hand side. You're still going to get the same result. Okay, guys, this is the third and final example for today on our linear equation. So right here, we have to solve for x in minus 3 open bracket 3x minus 1 over 4 plus 5 open bracket 2x plus 1 close your bracket over 8 equals to 1 over 2. So right here we have a couple of fractions, and we are asked to solve for x. Now don't forget, let's see if there's a linear equation. As you can see, if you thoroughly check, you'll find out that the highest power on all the unknowns we have here is just plus 1. That's x is for 1, x is for 1, and all this a bunch of s power zeros, s power 0. So this is a typical linear equation. So the first thing we have to do is we have to open up the bracket. Don't forget how to do that. That's very simple. We have to open up the bracket first, and after that, we get our LCM. So let's open up the bracket first. This minus 3. What sign do we have here? 3 has a positive sign. 1 has a negative sign. This 5 here, this plus. This 5 here has a positive sign also right here. Apart from the major sign connecting these two places. These two places. I mean, these two major spots. So 2x here has a positive sign. 1 has a positive sign, and right here 1 over 2 plus 1 and plus 1 over 2. So first of all, let's open up the bracket. Minus 3 times plus 3s minus times plus is minus. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 9x. Minus 3 times minus 1, minus and minus is plus. 3 times 1 is 3. Don't forget, whenever two equal signs have a communication or a relationship, we end up with a positive result. If the signs are the same, either plus or plus or minus minus, the answer is plus. If the signs are different, minus plus or plus minus, the answer is minus. So minus 9x plus 3 over 4 right here. Then plus is waiting right here. So 5 opens up the bracket. This plus 5 times plus 3x plus is minus. Plus and plus are being a minus. Plus 10x plus 5 times this, that's plus 5 over 8 equals to 1 over 2. So now we're going to look for the LCM. Now, what's the LCM of 4, 8, and 2? Now, LCM is something that we should know. It's very simple. I mean, the lowest common multiple. So our LCM for this set of values, 4, 8, and 2, the multiple that's the smallest, the least common multiple is 8. So we're going to write our 8 here. So we're going to use the 8 to multiply each of these quantities. You understand? So 8 will multiply this, 8 will multiply this, 8 will multiply this. So if we do that quickly, if you say 8 times minus 9x plus 3 over 4, so what's that going to be? That will be 4 here 1, 4 here 2. So what I have here, 2 is going to multiply minus 9x plus 3. Don't forget that, we've said it a couple of times that whenever we have a quantity, trying to multiply two or more quantities at the same time, that very multiple quantity will be put in the bracket. So yeah, it's 2 trying to multiply all we have here. So that will be 2, open your bracket, minus 9x plus 3. So what do I have next? 8 times 10x plus 5 over 8. So 8 here 1, 8 here 1. So what do we have? Plus, put our 1 here, open the bracket, 1 times this, 10x plus 5. So the next we have now is 8 is going to multiply this very last one. So 8 times 1 over 2. So 2 here 1, 2 here 4. 4 times 1, which is 4. So what do we do next? The next thing we do is now we're going to take out, we're going to write out this, we write this out. So that will be 2, open our bracket, minus 9x plus 3 plus 1. 10x plus 5 equals to 4. Now the question is, whereas this LCM, that is the denominator, where has it gone to? Now that's a principle. Whenever we have an equals to or an equality sign, it's going to take off, the LCM or the denominator. So whenever we're dealing with a major equation, the denominator or the LCM is not going to matter. Well, if what we're working on or if what we're working with is an expression, this very stuff will remain. But this is an equation, so the LCM or the denominator goes off. So right now, it's high time we got this expanded. So plus 2 times minus 9x, plus is minus. 2 times 9 is 18x. Plus 2 times plus 3 is plus 6. Plus 1 times plus 10, plus and plus is plus. 1 times 10 is 10x. Plus 1 times plus 5 is plus 5. Then we have 4 right here. So what do we do? Now we're going to collect our like terms. We choose where we want the x to be. As usual, I want my x to be on the left-hand side. I could put my x on the right-hand side Either ways, I'm going to get the same result for x. So I want my x to be on the left-hand side this time around. So that's minus 18x right here. The x is already on the left-hand side, plus 10x. The two quantities with x are already on the left-hand side. So that's beautiful. So we don't need to try to collect like terms. We don't need to try to send anyone over from the other side. So we have them already on the left-hand side. So the ones without x will be on the right-hand side. So we have 4 already on the right-hand side. So we want this 2 here without x to cross over to the right-hand side. So this crosses, becomes minus 6. This crosses, becomes minus 5. So what do we have right here? These two have the same unknown. So minus 18 plus 10. Don't forget owing 18 having 10, you end up owing 8. So that's minus 8x equals to 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 5 is minus 7. So right here we're looking for x. What coefficient is close to x? Is minus 8. So you're going to get rid of it by dividing both sides by minus 8. Whatever you do to this place, you do it also to this place. That's why you have to divide both sides by 8. So minus 8 cancels minus 8. We have x left. So x is minus 7 over minus 8. X is minus and minus, we have a communication plus. So plus 7 over 8. That is our final result for x. As simple as that. Okay, guys, at this very point, it's time we got our set tested to see how much we've gotten from today's exposition. So we have two questions as take home today. So first, we have solve for y in 5 open bracket 2y minus 3 close the bracket minus 4 open bracket 3y minus 1 close the bracket equals to minus 3 open bracket y plus 5. So this is the first question. We are asked to get the value of y, solve for y. So the next is solve for x in 3 open bracket 5x plus 1 close the bracket divided by 7. This is a fraction plus 2 minus 3x over 21 equals to 3 over 14. So I would love you to solve those two questions for me and leave your answers in the comment section. So at the very point in time, you'll be drawing the content on today's exposition. So if you found this very lesson resourceful, please subscribe to this very channel and share this lesson. See you in the next lesson. Thanks. Bye for now.